Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a miller and his beautiful daughter. They were very poor, but they had a wonderful windmill which harnessed the power of the wind to grind their wheat harvest into grain. The girl didn't mind the hard work, but her father wanted a better life for his daughter. Then one day, a handsome young prince was crowned the new king of the land. He decided to find a wife and invited the fathers of all the eligible ladies in his kingdom to dinner. One by one, they told the king about their daughters. Each man exaggerated more than the one before him as he described his girl. The poor miller, fearing his daughter wouldn't have a chance, thought up the best story of all. Then, with a heavy heart, he returned home to tell his daughter what he had done.
Oh, you're back already. Did you enjoy your dinner with the king, Father?
Yes.
Then I want to hear all about it. Can I get you anything, Father?
Yes, I could use some good strong tea.
You've had a very busy day. You must be absolutely exhausted by now. Do you feel like talking at all?
My dear daughter, I've made a complete fool of myself. And I fear something may happen to you because of my stupidity.
It's that bad?
It's awful. Everyone was bragging about their daughters. Before I knew it, I had to say something to make you sound extra special. Otherwise, you'd never get to meet the king.
Well, it's really not that important to me that I meet the king, Father.
It is to me. I want you to have a better life than I can provide. Maybe that's wrong, but that was my intention when I went to the palace, and then I made an awful mess of things.
What did you say that was so awful?
I boasted that you were an expert with the spinning wheel and that you could make anything.
Then I must learn how to use one.
Yes, but that's not all I said. It just popped out of my mouth that you could spin straw into spools of golden thread.
Oh, my. I hope the king didn't believe your story.
I'm afraid he did, though I tried to tell him I made it up. But he has such an intimidating way about him, I was unable to admit that I was lying. After I told the lie, there was silence. The king just sipped his wine, so I thought he hadn't heard me. Then he spoke.
Where is the father of this incredible lady?
Here,
You will bring your daughter to me at once, and that's an order. Imagine a girl who can spin gold from straw.
Your Majesty, perhaps I spoke too hastily a minute ago. You see, I was...
Liars must suffer severe punishment. Are you telling me that you're lying?
No. What else could I say? Obviously, the damage had been done, and now you must go meet him.
I'll learn to spin.
What's the use? You can't make gold thread from straw.
It seems hopeless.
The next morning, the miller took his daughter to the palace. Just the day before, he had made the trip alone, filled with grand hopes for his child's future. Now, all he could hope for was that the king would be forgiving.
Your father boasted that you have the power to spin straw into gold. I hope for your sake you can perform this miracle. The job must be completed by tomorrow morning.
Huh? Your Majesty, I beg
You may not speak till I permit it. Now go to your room and begin spinning straw into gold. If you fail, your father must face the consequences.
Majesty, I don't know if I can do it.
Take her to her room and lock her in till morning.
Yes, Your Majesty.
You think she can do it?
I'm really not sure, Counselor, but if she can...
If she can, she's just the queen you need.
She is beautiful.
And frightened of you, Your Majesty.
Or frightened of failing. If she does fail, she'll be punished. I will not be trifled with. A new ruler must show his strength.
The palace was an immense place, full of pomp and splendor. But Gretchen was taken down a long hallway far away from the king's sumptuous quarters, into the drab section where the servants lived. She was ushered into a plain room with a huge pile of straw and a spinning wheel. She wistfully stared at the straw and helplessly wondered what she could do with it. As the spinning wheel turned, it reminded her of the windmill at home, which she feared she would never see again. The hours passed, and night came. Poor Gretchen tearfully prayed for a miracle by the light of the full moon. According to legend, wishes are sometimes granted when the moon is full. All of a sudden, the moon turned bright red.
Hello! Here I am.
Where are you?
I'm here.
Where?
I'm down here
What?
covered in fairy dust.
A nymph.
At your service.
Maybe you can help me. I have to spin this big pile of straw into gold before morning. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know the first thing about spinning.
I know lots, I can spin the whole pile into gold if you want.
You would? But I have nothing to pay you in return.
Well, now I must be paid something. How about that necklace of yours? It kind of strikes my fancy. Why don't you hand it over?
Oh, this was my mother's. I hate to give it up.
But give it up you must. Now I'd better get to work. Whee!
Effortlessly, the little wood nymph turned the spinning wheel around. The straw took on a magic glow as it turned to gold and flew onto the spindle. Gretchen was dumbfounded. This amused the little fellow as he continued to spin a fine golden thread.
I can't believe my eyes. It's gold.
As he tirelessly worked on and on, the huge pile of straw dwindled, and bolts of golden thread began to fill the room. As Gretchen watched, she realized she would have to part with her precious necklace, for the strange little nymph had created the miracle she had requested. He demanded his payment as the sun came up upon the new day. In a flash, he grabbed the necklace, vanished into the fairy dust, and flew out the window as the king and his council approached.
Dear maiden, I'm speechless.
Here is your gold, your majesty, as you wished.
It certainly looks like gold to me, sire.
Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
Is it as real as it looks, your majesty?
Yes, but how?
Your majesty, now that my work is completed, I'm going back to my home. Good day, sire.
You must stay at the palace.
Yes.
You're probably tired now, but you can rest up all day, and tonight I would like you to spin some more gold thread.
But why?
Never mind. I'm the king, and I command you to spin more gold tonight.
Gretchen's heart sank as she realized she had to face the same ordeal all over again. And as night fell, she was locked in her room with another large pile of straw and the spinning wheel, which she tried to use, but the straw wouldn't even wrap around the spindle.
Now what's this? Are you crying again?
You again. Where are you?
Up here.
Oh, please help me. The king wants more gold thread.
That's understandable.
But I just can't do it.
Listen, you better take my advice and speak up to that king, but I'll help you out of your predicament. But how do you expect to pay me this time?
Here. You can have my ring. Would that be acceptable? That's amazing.
Nothing to it for a clever fellow like me.
But how do you do it?
That's my secret. Whoopee!
He dearly loved to show off, and he filled the room with twice the amount of gold thread he had spun before. Gretchen was delighted and gladly paid his fee. By morning, he disappeared again. Surely the king would be satisfied this time.
Good heavens, your majesty, you have enough gold thread to keep the royal seamstress busy for years.
Now I'm finished. Your majesty, I am leaving now. I fulfilled my obligation.
No, you'll stay.
Oh, sire, why are you torturing me?
You must prove yourself. Just one more time and I will marry you.
What?
Yeah.
He wants me to be queen. I can't believe it.
I am most pleased with your work, but I must ask for one more night of spinning.
But I'm not sure I can spin any more gold, your majesty.
Don't disappoint me. I have my heart set on you becoming my queen. Please do it.
Gretchen's heart skipped a beat as she looked into the king's eyes. That night, as the stars came out, she wished upon a falling star.
I would like to marry the handsome king. If only you could make my wish come true.
I don't see why not.
Thank you for coming to help. I need more gold spun, but I have no way of paying you. I already gave you my necklace and my ring. They were my only valuables.
Now let me think. You could pay me after you marry the king. I'm willing to wait because what I'd really like to have is your firstborn baby.
Oh, you can't be serious. The king might change his mind about marrying me.
He'll marry you all right. And when the time comes, I'll be back to collect your first child.
No!
Oh, yes, dear maiden. I will be paid in full.
Without another word, the nymph began spinning, and when he was through, he faded into fairy dust. The king kept his word, and a month later, palace trumpets heralded the royal wedding. Gretchen's wedding gown and the king's regal garments were sewn with the gold thread. Their attire was the finest ever seen, and they made a splendid couple. Everyone present at the ceremony sensed the love that had developed between them. After a year had passed, the couple was blessed with a beautiful baby boy. But the birth and the passage of time faded Gretchen's memory of her promise to the nymph and the debt she still owed him.
All of my wishes have come true. I must be the happiest woman in the kingdom.
Good evening, Your Majesty. What a fine-looking baby.
As soon as Gretchen heard the nymph's voice, she immediately knew he had come to collect his fee. Later that night, the king was coming to kiss his child goodnight when he overheard a very strange conversation.
You can have any jewel you want.
A man?
Just name it and it's yours.
Don't be silly, dear queen. You know what I want.
Won't you please change your mind? You can have all my jewels.
I've got plenty of my own jewels, thank you very much. But what I really want is that bundle right over there.
Your price is far too high. I refuse to pay.
Then I'll take what belongs to me if that's the way you want it.
I owe you much, but I can't let you do this. Come with me, darling. Never meet Samir.
You better not be planning to run away with my property.
I don't know what to do.
It's very simple. Just give me my child.
No!
The baby is his?
Why don't you let me hold my baby?
Oh, he's too heavy for you.
I might be willing to let you keep him. I'll give you 3 days to guess my name.
What do you mean?
If you guess my name in 3 days, you can keep him. I'm a fair fellow, that's why I'm giving you a chance. Of course, if you don't come up with it, he's mine forever.
He's mine, and I'm never gonna let him go.
Don't be so sure. Remember, you have only 3 days.
All right, where is he? Who were you talking to just now?
Heard? Oh, I feel faint. Please, take baby.
The poor queen was so upset she fainted. The king tucked her into bed to rest, but as she slept, the nymph's voice haunted her.
Remember, you have 3 days.
Are you feeling any better?
Yes.
Now you should just rest.
Where's my baby?
He's in his cradle, sound asleep.
We could lose him, and it's all my fault.
What did you do?
I completely forgot about the promise I gave the nymph, and now he has returned and threatens to take our baby away from me.
A nymph? But how in the royal kingdom did you get mixed up with a nymph in the first place? There's no need for you to borrow money. We're rich.
Yes, but this nymph helped me out before we were married.
But why does he want our baby, Gretchen?
I'll tell you the whole story, but I fear you'll not like me much when you hear it.
I hope that's not true.
Gretchen told him the truth about the nymph and the gold thread. He listened silently.
I haven't the faintest idea what his name is, and I don't know how to find out.
Much to her relief, the king assured his wife that he loved her and their child and would do everything in his power to help.
Come in.
Good evening. You wanted to see me, Your Majesty.
Sorry to summon you so late.
That's quite all right. I assume you have an important matter you wish me to handle.
Indeed, we must find out the name of a certain nymph and have only 3 days to do it.
Oh, my.
I want you to start by compiling a list of names. Now, at sunrise, you'll dispatch our best men to seek out the names of nymphs. Then report every unusual name they find to me.
When do you need this list of names, Majesty?
By evening, we must find the name as soon as possible.
We'll do our best.
You can tell them I will pay a large reward, but they must not approach any nymph directly, for I want this to be kept a secret.
What is this all about? Forgive me for asking, but you usually keep me informed. I may be of more help if you let me in on your secret, Your Majesty.
I can't. Not for the moment. However, I must request that you carry out my instructions without knowing any of the reasons behind them. I would like you to bring the royal scholars in on this as well.
Sire.
At daybreak, the king's men gathered and were given their instructions.
Remember to turn in your lists to me at sunset. If we do not find the correct name today, report back here tomorrow at sunrise, and we will begin again. Now go!
Meanwhile, intellectuals from all over the kingdom joined the royal scholars in their search for the exact name.
But
me see. Higgins-Broad or Hennepin are probably good possibilities. Oh, look, Caspari. That sounds about right.
Well, it seems to me that I recall once meeting a nymph called Rambabina. I know one named Bartu.
As the sun was setting, the men returned to the palace. Their lists and the scholars' lists were presented to the king.
Here are some lists of names my men have collected.
I appreciate all their help.
My scholars have already gone through all of these lists. They've scientifically picked the most likely choices, which you will find on the top 7 pages.
Thank you. I was wondering how I'd get through all these lists before he showed up tonight.
I know.
Is your name Caspari?
No, that's not it either.
McDonty or Puppinmup?
Egads, no.
Lars? Is it Lambeth? Or how about Leopold? Well, am I getting close?
No.
Scullywolly, Weaselwig, Hartoon?
No, those sound like a bunch of chipmunks.
The queen continued reciting names, but the nymph just laughingly shook his head and vanished. The next day, the queen's father paid her a visit and offered his suggestions.
Have you tried Balzar or Brown Ribs?
Those are 2 unusual names. I'll use them tonight.
And try Spindle Leg. You know, since he used his leg for spinning, that could be it. It's worth a try.
Armed with her father's ideas and more names from the king's men, the queen was ready when the nymph reappeared.
Spindle-Leg?
No.
Tim-Top Toodledum?
No, not that.
Then what about Pumpkin Top?
How insulting. Is that the best you can do?
Balzar or Brown Ribs?
No, give up.
No. Tiny Tyler, Brown Nose, Papa Bee?
The little nymph was delighted, as the queen had failed again. He hurried home to tell his friends and celebrate, because now he was certain she would never be able to guess his name, and he would be victorious. And so, deep in the woods nearby the palace, the nymphs played their music and laughed and frolicked by firelight, honoring their friend who was about to outwit the queen of the realm and claim a human child as a prize.
Merrily I'll stoke the fire's flame, for Rumplestiltskin is my name.
Just by chance, 2 of the king's men nearby heard the nymph call out his name. They hurried to report directly to the king.
All right, you 2 may proceed with your report.
Sire, we spotted this big fire in the woods, and there was a bunch of nymphs running around it.
What name did you hear?
Well, actually, only one of those nymphs said anything at all. He was playing a drum, and he jumped into the air. For a minute, I thought he had jumped into the fire, but when he hit the ground, he recited a rhyme in which he mentioned his name. Do you remember the name?
Was it Rumble? Yeah, Rumble something.
No, it wasn't. It was Rumple. That part I remember. It's funny, isn't it? It was right on the tip of my tongue, and now I can't think of it. Maybe it'll come to me if I can recite the rhyme.
I don't want to hear the rhyme. I only want to hear the name. And I better hear it fast or you'll both get a good flogging.
I'm sure it was
Stiltskin. Rumplestiltskin, if my memory serves me right.
I ought to throw you both in the dungeon just for trying my patience.
That evening, the king told the queen his plan.
I'm going to hide behind that drapery. And if the name my 2 men gave me today is not correct, I am going to protect our child from that nymph with my sword.
Good evening, my dear queen. I hope you have an interesting selection of names to try on me tonight. This is your 3rd and final chance.
Could your name be Robin? Or Hoppensack?
Hoppensack.
Is it Horace Undercup?
Wrong. Give up?
No, don't take him.
I won. The baby's mine. I'll give you 1 minute to say goodbye.
One more guess.
All right, if it'll make you happy, go ahead.
I'm ready to make my guess. Would your name be Rumplestiltskin? Nobody can take my baby away from me ever. He's mine, Rumplestiltskin. Now go away.
Gretchen! child is safe.
Yes.
The king and queen shared their happy moment in silence. But their little son expressed himself the only way babies know how. And they were delighted even to hear him cry, for they would all be together for a long, long time. Wisely, the queen never again wished upon a full moon, for she could never be certain who might appear.